Prime Minister Narendra Modi today had good and substantive meetings with all 8 leaders who are visiting India. He thanked each of them for their graciousness in accepting his invitation to attend the ceremony of oath-taking and noted that this was a celebration of democracy in the region, enriched by their presence. In his meeting with President Karzai of Afghanistan, PM thanked Afghanistan for the assistance provided by the Afghan National Security Forces in repelling the attack on our consulate in Herat. He said that the attack only strengthened our resolve to work together with Afghanistan. He reiterated India's commitment to the development and reconstruction of Afghanistan and India's interest in seeing a prosperous, independent and sovereign Afghanistan where the reconciliation process would be Afghan-led, Afghan-owned and Afghan-controlled. In his meeting with Prime Minister Tshering Tobgay of Bhutan, PM conveyed his warm greetings and respects to His Majesty the King of Bhutan. He noted that India and Bhutan share a unique and special relationship with long-standing historical and cultural linkages. He assured PM Tobgay of India's unflinching support for Bhutan's socio-economic development. The 2 Prime Ministers agreed to commence 4 new joint venture hydroelectric projects with a generating capacity of 2,120 megawatts in Bhutan. They affirmed their mutual security interests and agreed to closely coordinate and cooperate on issues relating to their national interest. Prime Minister conveyed to President Abdullah Yameen of Maldives the high importance attached by India to its relations with the Maldives and pledged to work towards further enhancing bilateral cooperation. Prime Minister noted that the 2 countries had a shared recognition that the security interests of both countries were interlinked and agreed that each side would continue to be sensitive to the concerns of the other on the issue, and that their respective territories would not be allowed to be used by any quarter for any activity inimical to the other. It was agreed to take measures to further strengthen investment and trade cooperation, as well as cooperation in projects that would strengthen regional and sub-regional transport and connectivity to mutual advantage. Prime Minister expressed government support to cooperation in the petroleum and natural gas sector, particularly in oil exploration, as well as in the tourism and education sectors. Prime Minister recalled the special and unique relationship between India and Mauritius in his meeting with Prime Minister Dr. Naveen Chandra Ramgoolam of Mauritius. He noted that the 2 countries are bound together by history, common ancestry and kinship of their people. Both leaders agreed to further strengthen the relationship, especially economic cooperation and interactions in the field of maritime security, renewable energy and the blue economy, including development of related infrastructure. They also agreed to work together with all other member countries in further strengthening the Indian Ocean Rim Association. In his meeting with Prime Minister Sushil Koirala of Nepal, PM noted that Nepal was an old and deeply valued friend with whom India shared history, geography and ancient civilizational ties, and it was his earnest desire to visit Nepal this year. Prime Minister expressed his appreciation for the political progress achieved in Nepal and conveyed his sincere hope that the constitution would be adopted in the 1-year time frame that Nepal had set for itself. He expressed his determination to further strengthen connectivity and economic interlinkages between India and Nepal, including through projects for rail and road connectivity. PM stressed the importance of expediting implementation of these projects and particularly projects in the hydropower and transmission sectors. He thanked Nepal for the ongoing security cooperation between law enforcement agencies on both sides, which both sides are resolved to strengthen even further. In his meeting with President Mahinda Rajapaksa of Sri Lanka, PM noted that India valued its relations with Sri Lanka. He requested the government of Sri Lanka to expedite the process of national reconciliation in a manner that meets the aspirations of the Tamil community for a life of equality, justice, peace and dignity in a united Sri Lanka. Early and full implementation of the 13th Amendment and going beyond would contribute to this process. They also discussed the fishermen's issue, India's development assistance program, and economic and commercial cooperation. In particular, PM expressed interest in early launch of the 500 megawatt Sampur coal power project and greater connectivity between the two countries. Both leaders reiterated their desire to further strengthen bilateral relations. In the meeting with Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif of Pakistan, PM underlined our concerns relating to terrorism. It was conveyed that Pakistan must abide by its commitment to prevent its territory and territory under its control from being used for terrorism against India. We also expect that necessary steps will be taken in the Mumbai terror attack trial underway in Pakistan to ensure speedy progress of the case and the conviction of those responsible. The PMs agreed that the foreign secretaries will remain in touch and explore how to move forward. PM said that the two countries could move immediately towards full trade normalization on the basis of the September 2012 roadmap. PM expressed his hope that India-Pakistan relations would progress in the economic, cultural and political fields in the same manner that India's relations with her other SAARC neighbors have progressed in recent years. He shared his vision of a SAARC region built on partnerships for development and mutual prosperity. Prime Minister requested Speaker of Bangladesh Parliament, Dr. Shireen Sharmeen Chowdhury, to convey his warm greetings and best wishes to Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina of Bangladesh and said that he looked forward to receiving her in India at an early date. He recalled our strong relations rooted in shared struggle, history, culture and language. He noted that we have shared stakes in each other's progress and prosperity, and Bangladesh was India's largest trading partner in SAARC. He appreciated the cooperation extended by Bangladesh to work together with India in all areas of mutual interest, including security, power, border management, rail and road transport. He expressed the commitment of Government of India in maintaining and building upon the momentum that has characterized India-Bangladesh relations in recent years. To sum up, Prime Minister had good and substantive meetings with all the 8 leaders. The visiting dignitaries expressed appreciation for PM's gesture in inviting the leaders of SAARC and Mauritius to India for the oath-taking ceremony, and for PM's focus on SAARC and his ideas on further strengthening regional cooperation. The meetings were held in a friendly and constructive atmosphere. From India's perspective, a strong and promising beginning has been made at the start of the new government in our engagement with each of the countries in the South Asian region and with Mauritius. Thank you.
Yeah, since there were 8 meetings, let's go in a sequential order of the meetings. So let's first take up those meetings that were held earlier in the morning. That related to the 3 presidents, because that was the protocol order that we followed. So if you have any questions on those, we will take those first and then move down the order. So any questions relating to Afghanistan? Yes, Gaurav, just a minute. Please wait for the mic and then.
Foreign Secretary, did the Afghan president talk about the Herat attack and who they suspected were behind this? And did the Prime Minister then raise this with those who we suspect were behind this?
I understand that you were the person who conducted the TV interview with President Karzai. So he's already told you what he felt was the case in the matter.
Now, Gaurav, one question, we're coming one by one to it. We are now focused on the three presidents. We'll answer those questions. Yes, ma'am.
I'm repeating just.
Yes, please speak it up.
I'm repeating just Gaurav's question that in this word of exchange, is there any discussion upon this Afghanistan Herat attack? Who is behind it?
Look, President Karzai has already made his views known in the interview that he gave yesterday. And yes, there was a discussion on Herat in his meeting with Prime Minister Modi.
Yes, just a minute. Anchal? Just wait on, please. Let the mic.
Could you please elaborate a little on what President Karzai really shared as far as the Herat attack is concerned? If not, then tell us. I mean, but we would like to know.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to go into details in a verbatim manner as to what was shared between the two leaders.
Anyone else on any of the presidents? Yes, sure, just a minute. Just a minute, the mic.
अफगानिस्तान से अभी अमेरिका की सेना जाने वाली है और ये पता चला है कि अफगानिस्तान में ओबामा की एक विजिट हुई है रिसेंटली और ओबामा ने चिंता व्यक्त की है कि सेना जाने के बाद वहां पर सिक्योरिटी की प्रॉब्लम्स बहुत ज्यादा हो सकती है जो भारत के लिए भी चिंता का विषय हो सकता है। तो इस बारे में कुछ कोऑपरेशन बढ़ाने के लिए या जो कुछ भी बात थोड़ा सा आप बताएं मैडम।
You are aware that we are deeply involved in Afghanistan. We have a substantive aid assistance package. We are implementing several economic projects, and we are also have good cooperation with the Afghan National Security Forces in training as well as other areas. We expect this cooperation to increase in the days to come. And we have every confidence that they will redeem themselves and do well in safeguarding Afghanistan's interests exactly in the manner that they came to our assistance in the attack on our consulate in Herat.
Sanjay, would you like to ask on Afghanistan? Yes, just a minute.
Ma'am, Mr. Karzai has told times now that Mullah Omar is currently in Quetta. Now, does the Indian government have similar information on this issue?
Shinjoy, we are here today to talk about the Prime Minister's meetings with his 8 counterparts who came over here at his invitation. We're not here to talk about whether Mullah Omar is in Pakistan or not. I'll leave it at that.
Mr. Venkat Narayan?
Mrs. Singh, all the SAARC leaders are meeting for the first time 3 years after the Malay summit, and Nepal is supposed to host the 18th summit in November. By any chance, any of them took up any issues concerning SAARC or giving it, some kind of a push in the coming months so that it produces some positive results? Thanks.
Thank you. As a matter of fact, the leader who took it up the strongest was our Prime Minister. In each of his meetings, he talked about the idea of SAARC and how we should use SAARC to improve regional cooperation and connectivity, and how each country in SAARC has its own specific strengths and opportunities. And he said that we should learn from each other's best practices. For instance, microfinance in Bangladesh. And I must say that the other leaders responded very warmly to this suggestion and agreed with him wholeheartedly that this was something that was indeed worth pursuing. So there is a vision. There is a vision of SAARC working closely together and focusing on larger issues of regional importance.
Pranay?
Foreign Secretary, do you see the initiative that is taken by Prime Minister Narendra Modi anything new in engaging with the neighborhood, or is this a continuity of the policies that were being pursued by the previous government?
The very invitation to the SAARC leaders, which has never been done before when a new Prime Minister has been sworn into office, that itself is new. And that is the starting point. It's very good to see that all the 8 leaders accepted our invitation, accepted the Prime Minister's invitation, and graciously came and joined us. And these were the words that Prime Minister used, that their presence had enriched our celebrations, and that this was a celebration of democracy. All the leaders who came represent democracies. And in some ways, this is a new beginning, which many of them remarked that it's the first time that an occasion like this has brought the SAARC countries together. And indeed, one leader remarked that we should have had a SAARC summit over here.